Recording in progress.
I missed it. Okay.
There you go. Thank you, dear. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Subdivision Utility Advisory Committee meeting of September 5th. Here we have the open announcements, please. You gonna sit here?
Before we begin the agenda, the Wichita-Sedgwick County Metropolitan Area Planning Commission would like to take this opportunity to welcome everyone to this public hearing. Copies of the agenda for today's meeting, the public hearing procedure, and Planning Department staff reports on all agenda items are available on the counter in the lobby. The Planning Commission's bylaws limit the applicant of a subdivision application and his or her representatives to a total of 10 minutes of speaking time at the start of the hearing on that item, plus up to 2 minutes at the conclusion of that hearing. All other persons wishing to speak on agenda items are limited to 3 minutes per person. However, if they feel that it is needed and justified, the commission may extend these times by a majority vote. All speakers are requested to state his or her name and address for the record when beginning to speak. When you are finished speaking, please share your name, address, and the case number on the sheet provided in the room. This will enable staff to notify you if there are any additional proceedings concerning that item. All speakers at the podium, please remove your face mask before speaking into the microphone.
Thank you. Can we have roll call?
Yes, sir. Bill Johnson.
Present.
Tony Zimbelman.
Here.
Bob Duell.
Here.
Jocelyn Clance. Joshua Blick. Bob Aldridge.
Here.
John Williams Bay. Sir, I show all 7 members are present and neither of the alternates.
Thank you. Before we start, item number 6, Subdivision 2024-00032, Silverleaf Acres, has been deferred until September 19th, so we will not be hearing that case today. So with that, let's start with item number 2, which is vacation case 2024-00039.
Good morning, Subdivision Committee. Philip Zievenbergen for the record. Vacation 2439 is a vacation of a 25-foot water line easement on Lot 1, Block A of the Halleck Edition. This is generally located northwest of the intersection of North Meridian and the I-235/K96 on-ramps. The applicant is Riverlawn Christian Church. Go to the aerial image, please. The purpose of the vacation request is in order to build a building addition. The aerial image is a little out of date, mostly because of very recent construction. There's already a building constructed on here. If you go to the site plan, there's already a building constructed on the site. They're looking to do a building addition. to the west, you can see phase one has been constructed and they're looking at doing an addition for a school. And the addition would cross over the water line easement. As you can see, they're looking at dedicating a different easement to the west to accommodate any type of utilities that would need to be in there. At the base of the area, there's a 35-foot easement that is not part of the vacation request and will not be affected if this is approved. Wichita Public Works does not object to the vacation. They noted that there's an abandoned 48-inch raw water line in the subject easement. If the applicant needs to remove that, it would be at their expense. There has been no public comment regarding this, and I can stand for any questions.
Any questions of staff? Seeing none. Any comments from the advisory board members?
Rondi with Evergy, no additional comment. We don't have any objection.
Applicant or agent, please.
Kobe Pietro with Caw Valley Engineering, 9139 East 37th Street. We have no comments or concerns with the staff comments. We'll open this up to any questions.
I have a question. Where it says fire access road on that south side, it curves around. Is that road gonna continue all the way and connect to Cobblestone Street?
Yes, the plan is for that to wrap around. It's going to connect kind of on the east side of the property up there. And then the owner owns both this lot and the lot to the west there, south of Cobblestone. So there will eventually be a shared access drive there between the two.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else present wanting to speak on this item? Anybody else? Seeing none, I'll bring it back to commission. What's the pleasure of the board?
Motion to approve with staff's recommendations.
Second.
Got a motion by Mr. Blick, second by Weensby. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? 7-0. Next item is vacation case 2024-00040.
Before I get into this, I just want to make a note. I'm not sure the applicant is here. However, given the nature of the case, they're looking to vacate an item that is on the property that the developer owns and hasn't ever actually been sold off to anybody. So I guess it's up to the opinion of the subdivision committee if they want to, and they have the approval from county stormwater on this as well. Do you want me to continue?
I would think we did because it don't look like there's going to be anybody opposed here.
Okay, then I will proceed. Vacation 2440 is a vacation request in the county to vacate a 40-foot platted drainage easement on lots 3 and 4, block 3 of the Estates at Wandering Oaks Edition. This is located east of South Greenwich Road, about a half mile south of East 47th Street South. All the properties are zoned rural residential, and all of these lots are still owned by the developer. The streets for this subdivision haven't even been installed yet. The applicant indicated that they've had additional conversations with stormwater with the county since it's been platted regarding drainage across this area. And there's an attachment to your subdivision packet from county stormwater, and that they reviewed the easement after it was platted. It was determined that the current drainage patterns are generally sheet flow conditions or shallow concentrated flows, that the platted easement is not necessary. County stormwater does not object to the vacation as long as a cross-lot drainage agreement between lots 3 and 4 is signed. This is because lot 3 drains south onto lot 4. The cross-lot drainage agreement would prevent the owner of lot 4 from berming, blocking, or obstructing the natural flow of runoff between lots 3 and 4. Again, right now the developer owns that, and so likely the cross-lot agreement would be signed and in place and part of the title work before these lots are sold off. So any future owners would be aware when they get the title work that they have an easement on their property. That easement would have to be given to planning before it go to county commission for final approval anyway. County Public Works and Fire do not object. We have not heard any public comments regarding this, and I can stand for any questions.
Any questions of staff? Thank you. Advisory board members.
Daniel Schramm with Sedgwick County Public Works. I'd like to just state that the roads have been constructed in
Okay.
this subdivision.
Thanks.
Any other comments?
Rondi with Evergy, we have no objection, no additional comment.
Thank you. Applicant agent, which I don't think's here.
I don't think they're here.
Does anyone want to speak in favor of this item or speak on this item? Seeing none, I'll bring it back to commission. What's the pleasure of the board?
I move for approval, including, based on staff comments and the cross-lot drainage agreement.
Second.
Got a motion by Mr. Zimbelman, second by Mr. Blick. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Item number 4 is subdivision 2024-00040.
Good morning, Greg Sharon, planning staff, here to present the TGC addition. Next screen, please. Next screen, please. This is a one-step final plat for a one-lot commercial subdivision located within the county and within 3 miles of the city of Wichita. This plat is associated with case PUD 2024, a zone change from SF20 single-family residential to create a PUD to allow for the development of commercial office use. Next screen, please. Complete access controls with one 40-foot opening is indicated along East Harry Street. And the applicant has platted a 100-foot front setback for the proposed lot. The subdivision regulations permit setback provisions to be modified by the plat upon approval of the Plan Commission. There are no waivers associated with the subdivision plat. I go through staff comments. MABCD comments advises all wells will need to be inspected before approval. And they state that it appears the existing residence is connected to public sewer. So they assume additional structures will be connected as well. City Public Works and Utilities Department states that the property is already hooked up to water and sanitary sewer. A new sanitary sewer connection will require 8-inch public extension. Fees are due, and plat of text shall read, no regarding within abutting rights way shall be allowed within the construction of the berms allowed within Reserve A. The berms cannot impact access or bury manholes, water valves, and or water meters. County Stormwater Management, I did receive notice that they have approved the drainage plan, subject to the minimum pad elevations being added to the drainage plan and final plan, as well as the drainage area and runoff rates from the KDA flood study being added to the drainage plan. They also state that the floodplain should be within a floodplain reserve. Item D, standard county fire department comment regarding access drives. Item E, city fire department standard comments regarding fire hydrant locations and based on type size of building. Item F, County Public Works approves of the access controls and the right-of-way and advises that the signature for the county commissioner needs changed. Item G, Planning Department, note regarding master drainage plan shall be stated on the plan. This property, the Wichita master plan indicates a bike pedestrian shared use path running through the property. If you could go to next screen, please. This is kind of the overall Wichita master bicycle plan, and you can see the area of the proposed plat outlined in red. Next screen, please. And this is an aerial photo with the bike path shown as the dotted green. It runs along the street that is located within the property. So with that, the bicycle plan, a 25-foot wide public access easement shall be created and dedicated and should be indicated in the platter's text. Since this is a PUD adjustment is needed for the lots to match the perimeters of the PUD parcel boundaries. County surveyor comments regarding benchmarks and some property corners being marked. And item I, Evergy has reviewed the plat and will not request any additional easements at this time. And I will stand for questions.
Question, Mr. Aldridge.
Yes, sir. Clarification, you said at the beginning of your presentation that the waivers are not required?
There are no waivers for this subdivision plat.
Okay, staff report shows that looks like there might be, so that was just a little confusing. Also, and regarding item G, paragraph 2 and 3, Sedgwick County does not currently have a master bike plan, correct?
They do, is my understanding, but the Wichita bicycle plan incorporates portions of the county. Is that correct, Scott? Am I?
Sure. I think it's a great question. There is an older plan that was a joint city and county plan that preceded the Wichita Bicycle Master Plan. It was called the Parks and Pathways Plan. It was from the 90s, late 90s is my recollection. And it did show bikeways located in the unincorporated county. So we still have, that's still in place for the county. It's not something that's referred to a lot, except for in this instance when we're looking at pathways. But for the city of Wichita, then there's a more recent one, which is the Wichita Bicycle Master Plan.
But it's purely a recommendation, is that correct?
That is correct. They're
Okay.
both recommendations.
Because the way this is given, that it will be done. So I just think that on item G, paragraph 2 and 3 should be omitted on this, just because it's a pure recommendation, unless the agent or the applicant doesn't have a problem with it. If they do, I don't think it should be in there.
Okay. Okay, yep, and I will let the agent address that when he speaks.
Any other questions, staff? Seeing none, thank you. Advisory board members, any comments?
Rondi with Evergy, no additional comment.
Yes.
This is Chris from City of Wichita Water. If this is going to be staying in the county, any new connections, we will require an outside city application for water and sewer, which waives the right of the applicant to protest an annexation.
Anyone else? If not, applicant or agent.
Chris Rose with Boston Company agent for the applicant. The applicant agrees with staff comments except for item G, number 2 and 3 with the bike path there. We see several challenges with this bike path. It just something that should be discussed at the time that the plans are developed for this area, and not just as a plat, dedicate an easement through there. And if you look at this area, you know, this is about 3/4 of a mile from here to here through trees. And if you look at the floodway maps, you'll see that the majority of this area is under the floodway and floodplain area. And if you look at these little blue lines that are coming through here to kind of designates drainage paths that they would have to cross in size and permit through FEMA, the applicant is against this path through this area. If they want to come and visit down the road when they have a plan, that's something they would entertain, but not at this time. And I'm confused, Chris, did you say that we would need to do a no protest petition for annexation or no protest for annexation?
No, it's just an application. It's called outside city application.
Yes. Okay, sorry. Yeah, and they plan on hooking up to sanitary sewer and water from the city of Wichita, and so they will apply for that. And I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions of the agent? If not, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone present wanting to speak on this item? Anyone present? Seeing none, I'll bring it back to commission. What's the pleasure of the board?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion that we, of approval, with the exclusion of paragraph 2 and 3 relating to item G, planning.
Second.
Got a motion by Mr. Aldridge, second by Mr. Dole. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Is there anybody opposed? Thank you, 7-0. Next item is subdivision 2024-00041.
Good morning, Greg Sharon, planning staff. Here to present the Redneck 4th edition. Next screen, please. Next screen. Okay, this is the final portion of the preliminary plat of Redneck Edition. This plat was originally referred to as Castaways Edition. This is for section for a 29 lot residential subdivision within the city. Access to this portion of the addition will be accessed via the continuation of Northridge Port Street from the previously platted section of Redneck Edition to the south. As you can see up on the screen, Northridge Port will be extended into this portion of the subdivision. The applicant has platted 22-foot setbacks for all lots, which represents adjustment of the zoning code of 25 feet. This is the plat in front of you, 29 lots. Go through staff comments. City Public Works and Utilities requires water and sanitary extended to all lots. Fees are due for all lots and blocks. And 80-foot utility easement is needed for large sanitary sewer running east and west, or provide an alternative alignment for a large sanitary. Item B, city stormwater management. I have received confirmation that drainage plan was submitted on 8/28/24 and approved on 8/22. Item C, city fire request proper verification of hydrant locations and requires for developments of 1 or 2 family dwellings where the number of dwelling units exceed 30 shall provide 2 separate and approved fire apparatus roads. They shall be placed a distance apart following section D 102.7. Dwellings along Bridgeport Street will be limited to only 30 and require a second fire apparatus access road. The city fire does not approve this plat because of the existing addition that is connected to the Redneck 4th edition has only 1 fire apparatus road with over 30 dwellings. And I will let the agent speak on that when he comes up to address this issue. Item D, traffic engineering has no comments. Item E, standard environmental health comment regarding irrigation wells. Item F, GIS approves of the street name. Item G, platter's text note shall be placed on the plat regarding street stubs. Item H, county surveyor requests relabeling of some reserves and some curve data. And item I, Evergy has reviewed the plat and will not need to request additional easements. And traffic engineering will need to approve of street lighting. And I will stand for questions.
Any questions of staff?
The front page of the application says there's 29 residences, I believe, and there's only 15 on the plat. Is that a mistake, or are we missing some plat here?
I believe these are to be, sorry. Yeah, I will let.
Any other questions of staff? Seeing none, advisory board members?
Rondi with Evergy, 4025 North Tobin. I would like the applicant to address if it's not Castaways, because the Rennick 1, 2, and 3 are Castaways edition for the marketing name. So could you let us know if this is going to be just considered part of that original Castaways? Thank you, because I do the new service requests and it causes a lot of confusion. Thank you.
Matt Schultz, City of Wichita subdivision engineer. Just wanted to provide clarification on item A2, where Public Works requested 80-foot utility easement. The intent of that was to provide a total 80-foot with potentially 40-foot being on the north side of this plat, I think, which is the Castaways edition. But we've also have a note about possibly running a different line, which we've been in talks with the agent, and we're probably going to end up going that route. So.
Anyone else? Thank you. Applicant or agent, please.
Chris Rose with Boston Company, agent for the applicant. The applicant agrees with staff comments. Item 3, C3, new staff comments, getting used to them a little bit, but item C3 from the fire, I talked with Chief O'Cades before the meeting, kind of talked a little bit about over the last few days that we would add a temporary 30-foot temporary fire apparatus access road here at Lot 3, Block A in the Rennick addition to help with a second point of access for this long cul-de-sac. And that also helps with the Castaways North addition that is on later in this agenda. We will continue to work with fire on what that looks like. This area here is and you don't see it on this final plat, this is a older development that's in the county. It's a gravel road. There's streets that kind of run out this way, and there's Palo Alto Drive that runs along our property. So we will have a temporary fire apparatus access road until such time as we connect all the way up to 53rd Street North, which should hope to be in a few years. I don't know what that is. Depends on how development goes. As far as what Matt has said, we agree. We have done we haven't sent it to Matt yet, a alternate route for sewer to kind of serve this whole area from the lift station that is just to the east over here. We have a new plan that we can show him, and we'll work with him on that so he can see that and get any comments from him. And the other thing would be the lot count. I was doing 2 plats at one time, I think, and I copied the application from Castaways North that has 29 lots to this one. So yes, it is only 15 lots. So I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions of the agent? Guess not. Anyone present wanting to speak on this item? Anyone present? If not, I'll bring it back to commission. What's the pleasure of the board?
Mr. Chair, I would recommend approval based on staff comments and also the applicant's comments, referring to the access up there at lot 3 as a temporary.
Okay, got a motion by Mr. Aldridge, second by Mr. Zimmelman. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? 7-0. That brings up to item 7, subdivision 2024-00044.
Morning, Greg Sharon, planning staff. Here to present 151st Street and Kellogg Storage Condos addition. Next screen, please. This is a one-step plat for a one-lot commercial subdivision located within the county. It is associated with zone change 2439, zone change from SF20 single family to LI limited industrial. The applicant will request annexation for those portions of the property located within the county. As you see on the screen, the portion of it is located within the city of Wichita, the northern portion, and the southern portion is located within the county. So that southern portion will be petitioned to be annexed all within the city of Wichita. Next screen, please. City of Wichita Public Works and Utilities requested no protest agreement for future extension of sanitary sewer. This plat is located within Rural Water District Number 3. If the applicant wants or needs City of Wichita water, then the applicant needs to provide a right to serve from Rural Water District Number 4. Surge charge may be applied to water service bills. If the City of Wichita is to serve water to this plat, then transmission fees are due. Sanitary sewer main benefit fees are due if and when sanitary sewer is extended to hook up to City of Wichita sanitary line. Item B, City Stormwater Management. I have received confirmation that the drainage plan was submitted on 8/29 and was approved on 8/30. Item C, County Stormwater Management has reviewed and approved the drainage plan. Item D, standard city fire comment regarding location and building type and size of commercial building. Item E, traffic engineering, complete access controls are to be shown for the north line of and 114.39 feet from the northeast corner along 151st Street. This is per KDOT track map 30BD 1061 UP. Traffic engineering advises they need to show access control and openings along 151st Street. Item F, standard city environmental health comment regarding irrigation wells. Item G, planning advises the applicant review pipeline easement and show setbacks on this plat, any pipeline easement setbacks to be shown on plat. Item H, county surveying comments. Section corners need to be shown. Some text updates, legal description updates, and some platter text updates. Item I, County Public Works requests access controls to be shown and labeled on plat per track maps, KDOT 30B 106 UP. Complete access control needs to show along north and east line of Lot 1. to be allowed for a 40-foot opening, and states right-of-way needs to be 60 feet at the south end of the property. Item J, Evergy has reviewed this plat and will not need to request additional easements at this time. And I will stand for questions.
Any questions of staff? Yeah, Bob.
I have a question, and I'm not quite sure who to address it to, and this is regarding signatures on the platter's text. This is a county plat. It has not been annexed yet into the city. So shouldn't that have the county, required a county signatures on there instead of the cities at this point, since it hasn't been annexed?
And I believe the intent is to annex the property, you get the approval from the Plan Commission and annex the property, and then it will be in the city, and then the city signatures will be on the plat.
Okay, that
So-
process still has to happen, and we're approving it as a county, not as a city.
Right. Scott may be able to address
I
this.
think it's a great question. I think, as you've pointed out, Mr. Aldrich, that yes, if this property is not entirely annexed into the city, and if the signature lines are only for the city, then the plat could not be recorded until the entire property is
Annexed.
duly annexed into the
Right,
city.
yeah.
So the applicant could find themselves in a pickle if they wish to get the plat recorded before the annexation is completed.
Would it be acceptable and legal, I guess, to have required signatures both from county and city?
Oh, maybe. I don't know that we've done that before. I would suggest, how about if we heard from the applicant first, we can hear what their timeline looks like, and maybe that will provide you with some more assurances.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for staff? Mr. Dole?
How about making approval subject to annexation in the city?
I'm going to turn to legal for advice on that one. But again, I think having the applicant speak to their timeline and what their comfort level is might be able to resolve the issue.
Mr. Chairman, our recommendation would be to get the timeline from the developer and just put the correct signatures on for the appropriate governing body.
Thank you. Any other questions of staff?
Basically, I'm sorry, Jeff Van Zandt, basically you've got an application that is in both city and county. And so if the plat is approved, something's got to be done to even file it, because you can't have signatures unless you have either both parties, city and county, or you have to have the annexation to have it done. So by its nature, having having both properties in the city and the county, it's going to hold up filing of the plat until they make a decision what they're going to do.
Thank you. Advisory board members, any comments?
Rondi with Evergy, no additional comment.
Applicant or agent?
Kirk Miller, K.E. Miller Engineering, 117 East Louis. We are extending sanitary. We're in the process of getting all that worked out right now. So we don't see that we need the requirement for the no protest to be necessary, since we'll have it sewer to the property. As far as everything else, we're fine with staff comments. The next week at Planning Commission, the zoning case comes up on this to convert it to LI, and then the application for annexation will be submitted. Not sure how long that takes. Do you know, Scott or Philip?
Typically, those take about a month, mostly a couple weeks of review, make sure the legal is correct, and then we've got a 2-week lead time to get on city council, so approximately a month.
And then there's 2 readings on it, right?
2 readings on the ordinance, correct?
So is it
it'd
more
be
like
5 weeks, 5 to 6 weeks.
before it makes it? Okay. So we wouldn't be able to record it until that time.
Mr. Miller, you're good with that? You don't have a problem with it?
As far as
The recording?
as far as recording it, once that's done at that point, yeah,
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Any other questions, of the agent? Thank you. Anybody present wanting to speak on this item? Seeing none, I'll bring it back to the commission. What's the pleasure of the board?
I'd like to recommend approval per staff comments. A second.
Motion by Mr. Dole, second by Mr. Aldridge. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? 7-0. Item 8, subdivision 2024-00045.
Morning, Greg Sharon, Planning staff, here to present Sapphire Estates Second Edition. Next screen, please. Next screen, please. This is a one-step final plat for a one-lot residential subdivision located within the county. Next screen, please. This is the preliminary plat on the screen. Next screen, please. This is the final plat. Access to this lot will be via an access easement off of East 69th Street North, which you see on the screen. So access easement from East 69th Street, continuing up to this proposed lot. Go through staff comments. MABCD notes that this currently within the Butler County Rural Water District number 5. If service available feasible to the property, they recommend connection. If service is unavailable, memo from MABCD will need to be specified. Approval of water wells. They also state that existing lagoon needs to be inspected. Item B, County Stormwater Management has received the drainage plan and has sent comments directly to the engineer and has requested an updated drainage plan. Item C, standard county fire department comment regarding service drive. Item D, Public Works has no comments. Item E, applicant shall determine setback requirements for pipelines. The lot number needs to be indicated on the face of the plat, and the street label needs to be revised to be stated as East 69th Street North. Item F, county surveyor advises the Butler County Water East District number 5 easement needs to be shown. Advises North 154th Street label needs to be shown. Item G, Evergy will not request any additional easements at this time. The plat is located within the El Dorado division. And item H, Phillips 66 states that the future plans need to be submitted to Phillips 66 Engineering for review. And those have been submitted, and so I will wait upon further comments from Phillips 66, see if they have any additional requirements. And I will stand for questions.
Any questions of staff? Thank you. Advisory board members, any comments?
Rondi with Evergy. Just to reiterate, it is located in our El Dorado division, and Pedro Maldonado will be the contact, not anybody in Wichita. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Applicant or agent?
Good morning, Logan Mills with Certified Engineering Design, 1935 West Maple. The applicant's in agreement with staff comments, and I'll stand within for any questions.
Any questions of the agent? Seeing none, thank you. Anybody else present wanting to speak on this item? Anybody else? Seeing none, I'll bring it back to commission. What's the pleasure of the board?
Move to approve for staff comments.
Second.
Got a motion by Mr. Williams Bay, second by Mr. Blick. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? 7-0. Item number 9, subdivision 2024-00046.
Morning, Greg Sharon, planning staff, here to present Castaways North Edition. Next screen, please. And then the next screen. This is a one-step final plat for that's a typo, it should be 29 lot residential subdivision located within the county. This one-step plat represents the first portion of an overall sketch plat that was reviewed earlier this year. The applicant states that an application for annexation into the city of Wichita will be submitted. Next screen, please. Access to this portion of the subdivision will be via Ridgeport Street of the Renick 4th subdivision located to the south of the property. You can see on the screen the previous section of Renick to the south, and so that Ridgeport Street will be extended to the north. There are 2 waivers that the applicant has requested. The first waiver is the subdivision regulations indicate that a cul-de-sac with a single point of entry cannot be is limited, shall not be longer than 800 feet for urban subdivision. This will be considered an urban subdivision. So to allow the length of the cul-de-sac as presented, a modification waiver will be needed. Should be advised that this recommendation of the waiver shall be contingent upon City Fire Department's approval of the cul-de-sac layout and design. It is have confirmation from City Fire that they do approve of the cul-de-sac over 800 feet. The second waiver that will be needed is from a street stub. The property to the west is unplatted. However, since this is a portion of an overall development as presented in the sketch plat, a street stub connection will not be required. The property to the west is currently unplatted. However, a conditional use for this adjacent property was approved to allow for sand and gravel extraction use. The proposed use of sand and gravel extraction is not compatible with the residential use. Therefore, the subdivision regulations allow for a waiver to be granted for incompatible uses. I think I misspoke. The property to the east is unplatted. However, as I stated, this is part of a larger development and it will be platted in the future. If you could go to the next screen, please. This is the overall sketch plat that was approved earlier this year for this development. And on the southwest corner is the first section that is presented today. So this is kind of the overall of the whole development of the Castaway North Edition. I go through staff comments. Platter's text need to be changed regarding berms within reserves and requires water and sewer extended to all lots and blocks. Water and sewer fees are due. Item B, city stormwater management. Have confirmation that drainage plan was submitted on 8/28 and approved on 8/24. Item C, city fire request.
Greg, you just said you submitted on the 28th and approved on the 24th.
Oh, sorry. Submitted on the 21st and approved on the 22nd. So I was reading the year instead of the date. So item C, city fire request proper hydrant location protection and for fire apparatus access roads. As stated earlier, city fire will approve of the waiver with the understanding cul-de-sac turnarounds will be 38-foot radius and 26-foot wide fire apparatus road in areas of hydrants. City Fire Department requires for development of 1 or 2 family dwellings that exceed 30 shall provide 2 separate apparatus roads. And the roads shall be placed a distance apart following Fire Code D 107.2. Wichita Fire does not approve the plat because the existing additions have only 1 fire apparatus road over 30 dwellings. And the agent will address this issue when he takes the podium. Item D, traffic engineering requires traffic calming elements along Ridgeport Street. Item E, standards environmental health comment regarding irrigation wells. Item F, GIS approves of street names. Item G, planning department. Emergency access easement shall be dedicated to mitigate the concerns regarding emergent access that are created by cul-de-sac streets that exceed 800 feet in length. And item H, county surveying comments, missing dimensions, and appears that there are 2 building setbacks on lot 4. And item I, Evergy has reviewed the plat and will not need to request additional easements. Traffic engineering to approve of street light placement. And I will stand for questions.
Any questions of staff? Thank you. Advisory board members, any comments?
Rodney with Evergy, no additional comment.
Applicant or agent?
Chris Rose with Boston Company, agent for the applicant. The applicant agrees with staff comments, and like Rennick 4th edition that was heard earlier, we will meet with fire on that temporary access opening that is here that we're going to add to the Rennick 4th edition that will help with the second point of access for this area until this, that'll become active until such time as we connect all the way up to 53rd Street here. And I will be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions of the agent? Yes.
Yeah, after reviewing it, first time seeing the future plat for that, I think we'll have to discuss on the temporary access road. Looks like it might end up having to have some type of permanent type of access road for this addition, along with the Rennick addition.
Mr. Blick.
Chris, if you can help me understand this, if I'm coming in from the south side on 45th Street and I'm going to Ridgeport and I'm going all the way up, I'm almost going to a mile before it's a dead end. There's a cul-de-sac. You're not going to connect all the way to 53rd Street, are you?
So I just noticed on this, I think I sent Greg the wrong sketch that was approved per comments. If you go to the sketch. That one there. So this one is an older sketch. We had some comments. If you guys probably don't recall, we had deferred this maybe a couple of different times. Traffic engineering had some concerns, so we had made some changes. The new sketch that was approved June, my date on my sketch is June 4th. We had removed this cul-de-sac here. We had combined the entrance of these two cul-de-sacs as one point of access. And then we have taken these two cul-de-sacs and extended them down so that they basically connect or within 20 or 30 feet of connecting that. So that way you have a little bit of a restriction there to control some of this traffic going through there. So this one is an older sketch, and I will get Greg the updated one. But if you, going back to your question, not quite a mile, but 3/4 of a mile is about where that cul-de-sac ends. And then if you go back to our plat, that's about where it's at. It's where I measure is 3/4 of a mile. So that's why we're trying to present why we're putting in this temporary access easement here, so that it doesn't make it a 3/4 of a mile cul-de-sac.
What's that, 49th Street?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I just see that we're going 3/4 of a mile into a dead end pretty much. And I get it that you have, if it's a different subdivision, but this is all one type of subdivision. You're just doing extension. So you're not, I mean, I see more of a problem if you're coming in off of 49th Street with the people that's over there, even if you're doing a fire lane. But I just have concerns with that long of a dead end, 3/4 of a mile, and then someone has to get turned back around. You're just making more traffic in that area instead of, they're 3/4 of a mile already up in there. They can just go straight into 53rd Street and just get out instead of turning back in.
Yeah, the main reason that we're coming off of this area here is our sanitary sewer is right here. And so we're extending it through this development, and then we can only go a certain distance. So it makes sense to us start here. And so to extend sewer, because we can no longer sit, it comes very shallow about where our end of our cul-de-sac is. So we can't extend it farther north. So our sewer to serve this area is coming around. So that's why we're starting at this location.
Mr. Zimmelman.
Question for the fire department. The temporary or whatever they're calling it, access road that you want to be permanent now, is that the one they have agreed to add at this point?
Yeah, the one that Lot 3 that Mr. Rose and I have spoken. Initially, that was temporary, but until I'm able to review the future plat for up to 53rd Street, I think we'll have to discuss that to verify that that will be either temporary versus a permanent road, depending on the future development to 53rd Street.
Where would the permanent road go? I mean, how long does it have to connect up to something else? Or is it just going out into that field to the west?
No, there's access roads. There's 49th Street, and there's also San Paulo.
Yes.
Street there. That wouldn't be for me to decide. That would be for the Mr. Rose and the developer to decide on that. But with the code requirement, would have to have 2 access points into these subdivisions that are over 30 lots.
Okay.
Mr. Aldridge.
The way I understand the whole purpose of the temporary cul-de-sac, which will eventually connect to Red the purpose of the temporary cul-de-sac, which will eventually connect to Ridge Road, until the development of the northern portion that connects to 53rd Street. So where the double cul-de-sac will be, that will actually be eventually opened up, and then he won't need that temporary anymore. Is that correct, the way I understand that?
That is correct. The only thing I would clarify is that on the 2 cul-de-sacs, usually there's a small reserve in between them that functions as a traffic restriction of some sort that they would probably gate as traffic access, but pedestrian access would be fine, or fire access.
And we've done that to several other.
We've been doing that in several different developments recently.
Okay, thank you.
But the question is, it hasn't been over 3/4 of a mile also. We're just talking a subdivision within that subdivision. They've used those calming techniques, but we're talking almost 3/4 of a mile long. People are gonna drive all the way up there and then have to turn around and come back, all the way back down to 45th Street. I see that's
Would
gonna
it
be
be
a problem.
45th or 49th Street?
It'd be, I mean, I think the plan would be is that this would be for fire only or emergency. And then everybody else would be driving down to 45th Street would be the entrance for that. And so just to clarify one thing, just because it's probably a little confusing on why we have two plats here. Rennick 4th Edition is owned by a developer, a different developer than this plat here is. So there's two different ownerships. It is being managed under one person who is the developer of the Castaways plat. So that's why we have two different plats. It's just easier for signatures and everything like that, so.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question. I apologize for this, but I want to make sure I'm understanding. Your temporary access road is in the Castaway 4th Edition.
Rennick 4th.
Or Rennick 4th. Yes. Okay, I'm sorry. But you're wanting to use that for the benefit of this plat. And I think our language says it has to be within the plat. So that may require an exception to have a access road in another plat that benefits this plat, because I think our access road says it has to be 2 access roads per the plat. So in essence, when you're looking at this plat, you're not going to see 2 access roads. And so I just want to make sure everybody's clear on that in case we do need an exception granted for that.
Would that follow under the waivers?
Yeah, I think
the 2 points of access is a fire code and not a subdivision regulation code. So we cannot grant a waiver from that. I don't know if fire
Okay.
code allows that.
But my understanding was it was 2 access per plat. So I want to make sure if fire's okay with using an access in another plat that's owned by somebody else actually, that we're clear about that.
My understanding when I reviewed this was that this Castaway Edition was 29 lots. So 29 lots, I believe that would not require the 2 access points due to the number of lots. But the reason why I did not approve these Castaway and along the Rennick 4th Edition was because they were interconnected with each other, which was over 30 lots from the existing Rennick 1st, 2nd, and 3rd editions.
I have a question for traffic engineering. So they're gonna have to put a dead end sign down there on 45th, correct?
Yes, and we usually put those on the street name signs.
Okay. And how do you feel with traffic being 3/4 of a mile into a dead end in a residential
It can be addressed
area?
with signage too. It can be addressed with signage too. You see a lot of streets that said no outlet.
That's correct, yes. And if a person happens to find themselves going 3/4 away, it's their fault. It's not like they haven't been warned.
Yes.
That it's a dead end, so.
You can't fix it for everybody.
I just see that, I've seen calming where they've done curved streets when they get to where those 2 cul-de-sacs would have met. You can curve that street to kind of calm it down so it's not like a runway down through there, but I just see that being that far down, I would prefer seeing a straight street all the way to 53rd Street.
All right, where are we at? We ready to bring it back to commission? Is there anybody else here to speak on this item? Seeing none, I'll bring it back to commission. What's the pleasure of the board?
Mr. Chair, I'm gonna make a motion that we approve per staff recommendations and comments in relationship to, paragraph 4 on, section C. We still have time where I think this can be worked out, between the agent, the applicant, and fire. But I'm also going to, in the motion, to recommend that we include the waivers, item 1 and 2.
Got a motion? Mr. Zimmerman, a second it. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Is there anybody opposed? 6-1. Any other business that needs to come in front of us today? If not, we're adjourned.